Hello everyone, and welcome. Ciao, Francesco.
Hi, Enrico. Ciao.
Ciao. How are you?
Fine. It's Friday afternoon. It's
As
weekend.
usual, we picked the right day.
Yeah.
Friday is always good. So, thanks for being with us today. I'm Enrico from Avanscoperta, and I'm here with Francesco Strazzullo again in the fourth episode of our live events on YouTube. To talk a little bit about decision making for software development teams, which is a book that Francesco is writing. Is also the title of his workshop that we are doing next week, and we are going to focus a bit on that today. The next week's workshop is going to be in Italian, but we have a date in English for June. So if what you hear is of interest, don't worry, because we are gonna have another edition of the workshop soon. So very quick introduction of why this is happening. Bear with me if you have been following us all these times. Thanks for that, first of all. So basically, Avanscoperta back in December decided to become a book publisher, a media company, and we have Francesco, who was willing to jump on this experiment with us, and so we are basically publishing his book titled Decision Making for Software Development Teams on LeanPub. As you know, LeanPub is a work-in-progress publishing platform, so writers get to publish their books as they get written. We are currently at chapter 3. The third one was a big one. We talked about it in the last live. Francesco is currently working on his other chapters. So basically, with LeanPub, you have a chance to really see the book as it gets written. This means you can buy it for a cheaper price and then get the updates as it gets written, but also provide feedback to the author and really, be part of the process somehow. So it's a cool thing, and we really like LeanPub. What else? Well, Francesco is the go-to person when it comes to decision making. We've been doing a workshop with him that we're going to repeat next week, and another one in June in English, titled same as the book, Decision Making for Software Development Teams. He's been working a lot into this and has done some research, and also has a lot of real life examples and how to make this better for your team when it comes to make mindful decisions about technical topics, what framework to choose, and all the things that are important for a software development teams nowadays. Because the baseline of this is no matter how good you are at actually developing software, it's very important now to learn how to make decisions in the good way. I hope what I said was correct, but I see Francesco nodding, so that's good.
Yeah.
I learned this after 4 times. And also I've been reading the book. It's really interesting, and even not being a technical person myself, I found something that was really, applicable and interesting. So next week's workshop is going to contain a lot of the topics that are in the book. So without any further blah blah from me, I'll pass the stage to Francesco.
Okay. Hi, everybody who is listening. And I'm starting. I started writing the chapter, and I realized that the most part of the next 3 or 4 chapters will be the main topic of the workshop. So I'm doing quite both things together. I'm working at some paragraph, and I say, okay, this could be a good slide for my workshop. And because right now I'm started working about data, gathering the right data for making decisions when talking about technical decision in this specific case. Because I'm right now, the section I'm working on is on technical decisions. And what I say in the book, and I will say also in the workshop, is that a decision is made of 3 important elements. It's data, So you have to gather the right data to make a mindful decision, and you have to gather the right people to make the decision, and at last you also have to use the right process for the decision, so to mix the right data with the right people. And I will concentrate on the workshop on these three major elements. So what are the data that we need to take technical decisions? And for example, I will try to answer the question about quality. I talk about that also in the other interview that I have had with you, but now I will tackle the main point. What are the data that I need to define quality? And with that data, I could actually make mindful decision. That's the main point. And also, I'm going to talk about people, because the point is that, of course, technical decisions should be made by technical people. Okay. A couple of years ago, no, 4 years ago, sorry, the time is running fast. But I worked with a company where, as a front-end consultant, they had a very, very strange problem with a React application, if I remember correctly. And when I took a look at their code, I said, you are not ready to work with React with this framework. It's a Lapalician. Okay, it's you never work with that. So that's the main problem. So why did you choose React? And they said, our boss chose React for us. And then I say, okay, you mean your CTO? No, the CEO. And I say, okay, is your CEO a technical person? It was a developer, or I don't know, something like that. No. I say he never developed anything in his life. And I say, okay, it's going to be interesting, but I want to ask you why he chose React. And they said something like, because his son is studying React at university, and he said that it's cool. So the point is that, of course, technical decisions should be made by technical people, because they are the people that know their stuff. But on the other hand, there are some people that need to be involved also when making technical decisions. For example, today, I made a call with a potential client of Flowing, and we were talking about a mobile application. Okay, so they asked, this is our problem. This is our software. What our software should be. What is the best framework to build a mobile application? Because with mobile application you can use native application, or you have a lot of different way to build a mobile application, from web to native application. And I asked them, what can you say to me about your users? And the client said, I don't know, I never thought about users when making decisions. And I said, when you are working with front-end decisions, knowing your users is quite important, because it will be quite different if your user is a boomer, will be different if your user is a teenager. And it may seem stupid, but this kind of differences could lead also to different technologies, because you have, when you think about the user, you have to think about his expectative, their problems, and also this stuff. I will explain in the workshop and in the book how this stuff could lead to different outcome in technical decisions. So to do that, in order to do that, you also need to involve in your technical decisions the users in a way. Okay, I'm not talking about talking with actual users, because your software does not exist yet, okay, most of the time. But talking with UX designers, for example, or user researchers, because they are, if you want, the people that know most about your potential users. So they need to be involved. But also C-levels should be involved in the decision. Or if you want, all the people that have a lot of interest and a lot of power in your product, because they need to be satisfied, because they can close the project, they can choose something, and you need to keep that in consideration. But it's your responsibility. It's a tech people responsibility.
Yeah, I mean, it links back to what we were saying the other times as well, right? Yes. Talk to people, exactly. Whether it's your colleagues when it comes to decisions, but also try and understand what the needs are, because as you said, depending on who you are building an app or a website for, you might, have to decide on something or on something else altogether. And if you're a technical people and you don't know that yourself, probably your team will know something about it. Is it, well, of course, if you don't have these people in your team, maybe it's a very small team of only developers, you can outsource this, right? It's completely doable.
You can outsource, but with my colleagues, we are studying this problem, okay, of small teams without any kind of user researcher in the team.
Right.
And we are defining also a small set of exercises that developers can do by themselves, trying to put in their users' shoes. That's the point.
Amazing.
It will not be as good as to have, I don't know, a user researcher in your team, but you are starting to see the point.
Yeah.
That's if it's not perfect, okay, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So will it be? Yes. Now I'm curious. We didn't agree on this. Is it a set of, I don't know, rules or stuff that you can ask yourself before, any type of decisions of this kind?
It will be half and half, okay? Because one part will be okay, like a checklist of questions that you have to answer also by yourself. Another part is some rule set or exercise that you can add to your development pipeline. For example, it's something called jobs to be done.
Yeah.
When you are working on something, you have to try to imagine what the user will achieve with that. It may seem stupid, but when you are doing the login, okay, you think that the problem is to actually log in the application, but it's not the point. The point of the login is to see what comes next. So that's the point. It's like, when you build a tool, like a hammer, okay, the purpose of the hammer, it's not to put the nails, but to have a drawing on the desk, on the wall. If you concentrate on the nail, you don't see the big picture, okay? You don't see that the hammer could be not the solution. You can just attach it with glue if you want. Yeah. Because that's one point. Other exercises are, for example, proto-personas, that are the first step of creating a persona. The persona is okay. I could use bad words in this case because it's not my work. Okay, I try to explain the concept, but my UX colleagues could, you could have white hair right now. So I ask, I'm sorry for that, but I will try.
So no
When you work
personas
on,
were harmed in this talk.
yeah, exactly, yeah. But when you're talking about personas, they are like potential users of your application, but they are validated. Okay, the personas are the result of user research. Proto-personas is like an assumption. I think that the user of my application is Jack. He has 19 years and he likes to skate. Okay, this is a proto-personas because I don't know if Jack actually exists in my user base. But it's in any case, it's a good exercise. And this simple exercise could be done also by a development team, by themselves. That's important stuff.
Probably
I like.
It can be the first step towards defining the persona because you have to start from somewhere, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because you have the proto-personas, and then you can, do a more refined job, and then arrive to a persona.
Yeah.
But the proto-persona, you can do that also without any help from the outside, because it's quite. I will not say easy, but it's doable. Okay, it's feasible for from a developer point of view.
Cool. So we did say that lots of these topics will be in next week's edition. Some of you know, some might not, that this time is the first time we are doing 2 half-day workshop instead of 1 half-day, because we do send a lot of feedback forms and we then read them and we try to improve based on what you say. And last time there was a feeling of maybe being a bit rushed or not having had enough time. So what can people expect coming to this extended version of the workshop that we are doing for the first time? And we always feel like if there's a bit more room for questions, doubts, or just discussion, it's always beneficial.
Yeah. The main difference with the previous edition will be that we will have live exercises with the people. So we are going to use a Miro board, okay, because we are remote, where they can do some of the exercises that I will show in the book and that I will talk about in the first chapter, like a stakeholder map or something like that. So probably the people will work alone on their version of any exercise, and then we are going to work together to take a look at everything. Then we're going to work alone because, when you are talking about decision, it's not about code. It's hard to talk about a generic decision. You should talk about something that you have actually to decide in real life. So I would like the people to concentrate on real stuff. And on the other hand, I would like to add 1 hour of free talks, talk about whatever you want, because as you can imagine, there will not be enough room also this time to answer to all the questions. So I would like to design, exactly. So I would like to design the workshop as to say, you will not answer, you will not have an answer to everything because it's impossible, but I want to design the workshop with some room for free conversation to exchange ideas about real life problems. I took a look at the warm-up question that we do before workshop, and I think that will be quite interesting. There will be a quite interesting conversation.
Yes, indeed. And what we find out with your workshops in particular is that the background is, of course, technical, but there's a lot of, the human factor and how to make decisions, which is the main point of it. And also, of course, every one of us, whenever we go to a training, we are, pushed by some demand that we have, whether it's questions or how do I solve this in real life. and I guess this 1 additional hour and all the exercises will also try to address that a bit more and more calmly, having people to just talk about it.
Yeah, that's the point. We will try that.
It's gonna be good. All the other one we did was great as well, and with one extra module, I'm sure it will be good as well. But of course, even though the big 3rd chapter is now out of the way, we know that you or someone else, which I'm anticipating now, has been working on your book as well, which is still work in progress. You can always buy on LeanPub. I'll quickly show the page to that, like every time. So go on LeanPub and you'll find Francesco's book. We are currently at $9.99 because the price increased after finishing chapter 3, but more content is coming, isn't it?
Yeah. The content will arrive probably after the workshop, and I give you some space because the workshop is quite hard to prepare. But what I will talk about is a lot of exercise about gathering the right data, and to be sure that you will not talk in your team about unuseful stuff. That's the main point of the next chapter. As an example of what I mean with unuseful stuff, in the last chapter, I talk about a developer team, that were talking about everything about performances. Every decision that we're going to make is about performances. This framework is more performant than that. This architecture is more performant than that. And well, we're talking about the right people for the right decision. I called in that workshop the customer manager, the customer support manager of the company, and I asked anyone ever complain about performances in your users? And they answered no in the last 15 years. So my point was, performances are not important in your use case right now, because they were talking about, don't get me wrong, performances are quite important, but they were talking about differences in milliseconds. Okay, they were not really important as a variable in a decision. The first rule for a good decision-making process is to remove unuseful variables. That's the point. That's the main point of the 4th chapter that I'm currently halfway.
Good stuff. So yeah, we're looking forward to that. Of course, after the workshop, which having half more day, it's even more challenging. And any further anticipation on the workshop? Let's say the last bit before we for today.
The last anticipation for the workshop is that I will show an original exercise. Most of the exercises that I will show are, I didn't create it myself. Okay, I took them from other workshop, other books, and I'm mixing them in a correct order from my point of view. But one of them, or a couple of them, will be originals. That will be something that I created with my team to solve, to compare framework in a visual way. That's the main point.
Sounds good. So I was typing this. I want to capture that. So yes, more on. You said visually. So what do you mean by that? How are we gonna do that?
Visually with charts. okay, you are going to distillate all the characteristic of a decision, of a technical decision, on a chart, so they will be comparable. You could do that with tables if you want, with spreadsheets, okay, if you like the numbers. But I think that to have a visual representation of a decision, it's way more efficient and way more, easy to remember. Because the point is that in 5 years, you should probably regret the decision that you made, because that's the main point, and you have to remember why you made the decision, and have a visual representation of any kind. It's easier to remember. That's also the main point of Avanstorming. But I'm trying to do the same thing as a photo. Okay, this is my decision that I made that day, and I would like to visualize it in an image.
Amazing. So when you say chart, of course, I was about to mention event storming, but you did it before me, which is all about visualizing stuff and making everything visible
exactly.
for everyone. I missed my point. Sorry.
No.
So what I wanted to say, yeah, we're gonna do that in Miro, right? Or is it gonna be more analog, like everyone drawing on their paper and then showing it?
We are going to use Miro for a part, and for another part, I made a custom tool on web that I will show. Yeah, that I will show the people. I made it a couple of years ago. It's not very beautiful, okay, I have to say, but it's quite usable, because it's easier to move some slider than to draw a chart.
Amazing. Well, sounds good. So if any of the folks who are connected with us have any questions, that's the time to ask them, because we are about to close. Very excited about all the news and anticipations you gave me today, Francesco, because I didn't know a lot of them. I was about to ask, of course, during the preparation, but just today to have them as a new stuff to know, it's really cool. So Francesco's workshop is taking place next week on Thursday and Friday morning, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Italian. There's still tickets available. Here you can see the website. It's also on the description of this video. But as I said, in June, we're gonna do a new edition in English. So if any of what you heard in these lives is of interest for you, please do join us. I'm gonna copy a link now in the chat. You can join the waiting list for this, and we will publish the date very soon. So decision making for software development teams goes international also in the workshop, because the book is in English. We did these events in English, and of course the workshop has to be in English as well. So do join us if you think it's something useful. We do believe it is. So please do join us. There's going to be early birds, so you can catch a good price early on. Just subscribe to the link, and we hope to see you there. So I guess that's it for today, Francesco. Anything you want to add before we close?
I hope to see some of you at the Italian workshop next week, because I'm quite thrilled about it.
It's gonna be a good one indeed. So thanks for your time again. It's a pleasure to have you every some Fridays in the month to just talk about this. And of course we have the workshop, as we said, next week, and then we are going to do another live next month with to know all the progress, and also to understand what the feedback was about the workshop, and if people liked it. So thanks a lot. Keep following us, and we'll see you soon.
Bye bye.
Ciao, ciao. Bye bye.